The concept that global warming is a war by the mainstream media against Christianity is a notion that has been circulating among certain groups, particularly those with strong conservative and religious affiliations. This idea suggests that the media's emphasis on climate change and its potential catastrophic consequences is, in fact, a covert attack on Christian values and principles. Proponents of this viewpoint argue that the focus on environmental issues is a deliberate attempt to undermine the authority of the Bible and the traditional Christian worldview. One of the primary arguments presented by those who support this notion is that the emphasis on global warming and environmentalism is rooted in a secular, humanistic ideology that contradicts biblical teachings. They claim that the Bible grants humans dominion over the earth, giving them the right to exploit natural resources as they see fit. In contrast, environmentalism is seen as a form of paganism or nature worship, which elevates the natural world to a position of reverence and importance that is incompatible with Christian doctrine. Furthermore, some argue that the media's relentless focus on climate change is a way to promote a sense of fear and guilt among Christians, which can lead to a loss of faith and a rejection of traditional values. By constantly emphasizing the catastrophic consequences of human activities on the environment, the media is accused of creating a sense of existential dread that undermines the Christian message of hope and redemption. This, in turn, is seen as a way to erode the moral authority of the Church and pave the way for a more secular, liberal agenda. Another argument put forth by those who believe that global warming is a war against Christianity is that the scientific consensus on climate change is not as settled as the media claims. They point to the existence of dissenting voices within the scientific community who argue that the relationship between human activity and climate change is more complex and nuanced than the mainstream narrative suggests. By ignoring or marginalizing these alternative perspectives, the media is accused of promoting a form of ideological censorship that silences opposing viewpoints and stifles debate. Additionally, some proponents of this viewpoint argue that the policies and initiatives aimed at mitigating climate change, such as carbon taxation and renewable energy subsidies, are a form of stealth socialism that threatens individual freedom and prosperity. They claim that these measures are a way to redistribute wealth and impose a form of government control over the economy, which is antithetical to the values of limited government and personal responsibility that are deeply ingrained in Christian tradition. Despite these arguments, it is essential to note that the overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree that human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases, are significantly contributing to global warming. The scientific consensus on this issue is clear, and it is not a product of a secular or humanistic ideology, but rather the result of decades of rigorous research and data analysis. Moreover, many Christian denominations and organizations have explicitly acknowledged the reality of climate change and the need for urgent action to mitigate its effects. In conclusion, while the idea that global warming is a war by the mainstream media against Christianity may seem persuasive to some, it is essential to approach this claim with a critical and nuanced perspective. The relationship between environmentalism, science, and Christianity is complex and multifaceted, and it cannot be reduced to a simplistic narrative of ideological conflict. By engaging in open and respectful dialogue, and by acknowledging the validity of different perspectives, we can work towards a more informed and constructive discussion about the challenges posed by climate change and the role that faith communities can play in addressing this critical issue.